What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. So today we are going to be talking about Great Coasters International, the Profound manufacturer, otherwise known as GCI, known for their many wooden roller coasters all across the world, including Mystic Timbers, Prowler Renegade, Gold Striker, and many ones overseas as well. But today we're not going to be talking about a wooden coaster from GCI, but instead a hybrid treatment on a GCI roller coaster. No, I'm not talking about Joker. I am talking about White Lightning at Fun Spot in Florida. So this is a pretty interesting take on the retrack. So we've seen other coasters like Ghost Rider get retracked by GCI themselves, and the result is a pretty good and improved roller coaster that will please both the GP and coaster enthusiasts alike. But this is not that. White Lightning is getting a full-on steel retrack from their steel track that they showed at IAAPA last year, and even back then we were just looking at that track thinking, what's gonna happen? A little bit of a backstory: at IAAPA last year, GCI at Fun Spot next to White Lightning, funny enough, showed off their new take on a steel roller coaster track, and a lot of people got vibes from Rocky Mountain Construction. We all know Rocky Mountain Construction as the profound manufacturer that takes old, bumpy, and rough wooden roller coasters and transforms them into some of the best in the world. But I don't think this is what this is. So let's look more into what GCI is going to do with this track in the near future, a few possibilities, pros, cons, and maybe some future concepts within itself. This is Cedar Flags, and today we're going to be answering the question, what is GCI doing with their steel track? So let's look at White Lightning for example. Well, the pictures make it look like they're not going to be changing the layout whatsoever. Now, Rocky Mountain Construction takes older and more outdated layouts and makes them more exciting with the steel track as well. For example, go look at a Mean Streak POV back from 2016 or previous, and then look at a Steel Vengeance POV. You'll see that the layout's close to the same, but the elements on the ride are completely different, and that's to modernize the ride in general. Now, GCI's roller coasters are a little different. These roller coasters have modern and up-to-date elements, even by today's standards, and they don't need a fancy new treatment that will replace some of the elements. Think of the Ghost Rider retracking at Knott's Berry Farm that happened a few years ago. They replaced the old wooden track with newer wooden track, and the ride's a lot more enjoyable than it used to be. Think of that with this steel track. I think that's what they're doing with White Lightning, just having a better retrack, not changing any of the elements. And I could see this happening to a few other roller coasters too, from both GCI and other manufacturers. Now, I'm talking about wooden roller coasters that have a great layout, some great moments of airtime and positive forces, but a lot of rough patches from parks that don't want to take care of them every few years. And now, this could be a good, easy solution when you look at the pros. The first pro I want to talk about is, of course, the smoothness. Now, you have a wooden roller coaster with a phenomenal layout, but it's rough, so of course it's going to lose ridership from both the GP and enthusiasts. And the second pro is that it would remove a lot of money and time into the roller coaster, because naturally wooden coasters require a little bit more maintenance than steel roller coasters. So if they retract some of those older, less popular wooden coasters with steel track, the parks would spend a lot less money on the coaster and a lot less time. Now, the third pro is only for GCI roller coasters. This conversion would let GCI have more roller coasters and keep them from losing roller coasters. At the same time, there is a noticeable con, and that con is that the roller coaster wouldn't be made out of wood anymore. I know a lot of theme parks like to emphasize their wooden coaster collection, and let's say a theme park wanted to have this retracking, it would not be considered a wooden roller coaster anymore. Now, I know a lot of parks don't really care when it comes to this, but at the same time, a lot of parks like saying that this is a world-class wooden coaster. It puts a little more of a special value on it. But at the same time, this really doesn't matter in most cases. But anyway, let's list a few roller coasters that I could see getting this treatment. First, I'm going to start with two GCIs that I feel like would have good layouts, but the roughness really ruins it. The first one I want to talk about is a Roar at Six Flags America. This was like the Roar at Discovery Kingdom, and I could see an RMC being more likely for this one, but I feel like a GCI would be a better fit. It would overall be less money for Six Flags because I know they don't put enough emphasis on Six Flags America, and it would transform the roller coaster and make it a lot shinier and better. Now, the next roller coaster I want to talk about is one that I could see more likely getting this treatment. It's a very special roller coaster for both Hershey Park and GCI alike, their first ever roller coaster, Wildcat. Now, I actually got to ride Wildcat this past year, and let me say, if it were smoother, it would be the best wooden coaster in the park. Better than Lightning Racer, and maybe even a potential favorite wooden coaster of mine. I loved Wildcat's layout so much, and I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I bet a lot of people can agree with me that Wildcat has a pretty good layout. It has a lot of ejector airtime moments, and it has some pretty good floater moments as well. It's got a nice good twister layout, and maintains that speed throughout the rest of the ride. And the POVs really don't do justice, but at the same time, it is extremely rough. And that's a major problem with Hershey Park's Wildcat. So, instead of an RMC, I would say that this would be a much better treatment just for the longevity of the ride's legacy and its specialty as the first roller coaster ever by GCI. Now, a few other roller coasters I do want to mention are not by GCI. It is Hellcat at Clemington Park. It has a pretty good layout designed by the one and only Alan Schilke, but at the same time, it's a pretty rough roller coaster. Just look at El Toro Ryan's POV. And then I got Ravine Flyer 2 at Waldameer. This roller coaster isn't as rough, but it definitely has a few rough patches, and we see Waldameer retracking the ride all the time, so it would definitely take a lot of pressure off of it. Now, the second possibility I want to bring up is a ground-up roller coaster. Now, of course we know that the first possibility is going to happen with White Lightning. I just wanted to expand on it. But anyway, I want to mention the second possibility before I go. So, remember that concept of the dueling wooden coasters at IAAPA, the ones that had inversions by GCI? I could easily see, at the very least, those inversions having steel track, but at the same time, I could also see the entire roller coaster itself being made of steel. That would be very impressive, and let me say that it would be a lot less maintenance and would be a lot smoother of a ride and a lot of longevity added to it as well. Now, I feel like if they did do an all-steel wooden roller coaster like that, or a hybrid roller coaster that combined the two, it would definitely be a lot more research into it since it's a new project by GCI, and I truly think that they are just going to test the waters right now and try the track on existing roller coasters to improve existing rides. But anyway, what are your thoughts overall on this concept, or the concept I just talked about? Well, let me know in the comments below. This is Cedar Flags, it's nice to be back, and I will see you guys later. But sooner than the last time.